Welcome to the Strokeonaut. My name is Chris. I had a stroke and now I live aliens. Let's get to the video. So there's a new whistleblower, I guess you'd call him. He was a former security officer at Nellis Air Force Base. His name is Joshua Shelton. And he did an episode with Ross Coulthart. I've got some clips I'm going to play in a minute. But I guess he did security at the nuclear base and he's seen a couple of weird things. So what I want to do right here is let me just play really quickly one of his opening statement he made, and just want to talk about that for a second.
So this one's a little disturbing for me because somehow I completely forgot about this incident, and I don't know how I could have forgotten because it was so obvious. It was right over my head. And when we talked, you got in contact with Robert Hastings, who I had originally talked to shortly after I had separated. Um, so I can't explain how I could have forgotten about this, but as soon as you showed me what I had told Mr. Hastings, I remembered the incident. Um,
So when I heard that, I went, "Well, that's a little odd, isn't it? You remember telling a story, but you don't remember telling it until Ross brought it up." But that could be here nor there. Could have legitimately forgot. I don't know. I just found it a teeny bit odd, but whatever. So I don't. Whatever, it is what it is. So now in this first clip, I want to review a real quick clip what he saw when he came to like a UFO that went over and crashed. I'm going to play that clip right now, and we'll come back on the other side and we'll talk about it.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it was a classic flying disc-shaped object. I don't think that it was physically on fire. It was almost like this, almost like magma type glow was wrapped around the front of it, and that was what was illuminating the ground underneath it.
And so you hear this massive explosion. Was there a concussion? Was there a
So
physical force from the blast?
So that's the thing. We didn't hear an explosion. We saw as soon as it went under or behind the bluffs, and again, it was definitely on a downward trajectory. We saw the bright flash of that orangish light. There was no sound, and we braced ourselves. There was no sound. There was no concussive force. There was nothing that you would expect. I mean, we kind of felt stupid because we suddenly you do this dumb pose where you duck down. Nothing, no sound, no force,
So
absolutely nothing.
what's the
So that's an interesting story. And as before we get to the main point of this video, there's one more quick story I'm gonna play for you that he said he has a bunch of stories, but this is just one that I clipped. So let's listen to that one, and then when that's done, I'll come back and I'll give you some thoughts that I have on it.
So there's the main incident that I know you want to discuss, but there was a history of people spotting these shadowy figures. We spotted one early on to when I was first out there. I actually shone a spotlight on it because we thought it was our flight chief watching us carry out an exercise.
so
And
you shone a light on it and it disappeared. How many people saw that shadowy object?
it was 16 of us. 16 of us because we were all sitting there and we were calling to the figure, thinking it was our flight chief. And then when it wasn't responding, I took a spotlight from one of the other members, and then I turned it on. And as I cranked it up to the building, as soon as the light hit the legs, that's when it just disappeared.
So the reason I played that clip is because it highlighted that he said he was with 16 other people. So the point of when I was watching that episode, that video, I'm saying, why haven't we have they, like Ross, tried to contact any of those 16 people to corroborate the story? That's what I mean. If you said it was 16 other people and it was only, I don't know, 2080, I think he said, uh, have they tried to corroborate the story? Because that would be easy if you had a couple of the witnesses, even if you got their names, email them, hey, did this actually happen? And they said, oh, yeah. So if you're in a court of law and you have one or two people say take out an oath, you can convict a person of murder. So why haven't we interviewed, or haven't they asked to interview anyone else who saw this? I just find that a little bit odd that that there's no follow up, since he right there he said there's 16 other people and he's got plenty of other. I suggest you go watch the whole video. I'll put a link down below to the whole episode so you can watch it. But I just find that odd. Why haven't they contacted the other 16 people? Or maybe when they see this, they'll come forward and say, "Oh yeah, I was there for that." I just find it a little odd why. I'm not saying that the guy's not telling the truth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you would think doing this episode they would follow through. Like, I reached out to blah 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 for comment. Either they gave me a comment, they made no comment. I just find it odd that no one's reached out to ask anybody of the 16 witnesses, can you corroborate this story? Because these are all great stories, but to convince people that are not like you and me, that are not into this topic, that this stuff is real, you hear that story and go, "Oh, that's great," but that's one guy. But if you have like 3 or 4 other people backing him up in the story, then it's compelling, because you're saying, well, this guy said it and he's a veteran, and this guy and his buddy here, and they all confirm that this happened. That's how you convince people. And the more people you get into this movement, the more you can push Congress to fight for disclosure. But if you just have a one-off, I mean, it's like a common theme going on. They're great stories, and I'm not saying they're not true, but if 16, that one episode with that one incident, he had 16 other people. Why don't we talk to them and corroborate the story? And that's great for moving forward. And why wasn't he a witness that would testify in front of Congress? Because it's a great story under oath. I'm not saying he's not telling the truth. I'm just saying he was with other people. They can corroborate their story, and then from there we can move on. Also, were reports made of it. I know in one of the stories he told, and it said they didn't fill out a report because apparently it happens all the time, and they don't fill out and Ross even asked him, "This is you got what looks to be an intruder on a nuclear base, and he didn't fill out a report." But in that one incident, they didn't. But I'm sure in the other ones, he's got a lot of other stories that they had to fill out reports. Did we do an information request for those reports? Because if you got the report and it says none of that happened, you got a problem. If you get request a report and it comes to you and it's all redacted, that's a good sign, because that means something happened and they redacted everything, and there's no information in the form that tells it to say, well, maybe his story is true, right? So in this video, in my other recent videos, I keep harping on this. Like, they're nice stories, but you gotta have proof, because you've got a story that's a little bit out there. You get proof to bring people in. So this is another one. We got witness. Let's get the proof. We can't keep telling these stories over and over and over again, and everybody believes him. Which I'm not. Like I said, I don't think he's lying. But if you can get proof, we can't just believe everything we hear. And let's get the other people and corroborate the story, and that pushes the whole narrative of this whole situation with UFOs and UAPs forward, because we say we got this guy, we got 15 other people who signed on board that said this actually happened. So you can't 15, 14, 12, 10, 8 guys are not going to make up a story like that. So it pushes the whole envelope forward, in my opinion. So my stance on this comes back to trust, which I do. He seems like but verify. Gotta verify these stories, because if you don't, they're just stories, and anybody can tell a story. So we've got to verify this stuff. And once again, with his witnesses, he was with other people on many of these things. Let's reach out to them. Did Ross reach out to him? I don't know. Maybe he did, and none of them said anything, or maybe he just never did, or maybe he never asked a question. But don't you think that's an important question you should ask? Is like, well, can I have the names of the other people you work with, and can I reach out to them? He might not have contact with them anymore, but you can still maybe get the names. These are journalists, do that research, maybe even an email, shoot it, hey, did this happen? I mean, it's just something you should do, I think, and it pushes the story forward. But then again, I had a stroke, so maybe it's just me being a goofball. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just trying to bring a little common sense to this whole UAP thing, because I think there's not a lot of critical thinking going on. I mean, okay, we got witnesses, let's ask them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put a comment down. We're pointing at the camera. Put a comment down below. Let me know. Am I off base? I don't know. It just makes sense to me. That's all I'm saying. You should go check out the video. Like I said, I'll put a link down below. Go check out the video. It's like an hour and a half long. It's very interesting. The guy seems honest. It's very compelling. It's interesting stories. But let's push this story a little bit further. But that's what I think. If you like this video and like what I said, leave a like. Maybe a subscribe would be great. If you didn't like it, well, I guess hit dislike and put a comment saying, dude, forget it. But I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.